Hello, glad you could join me. Today I'm going to be making a star for the top of your Christmas tree. Let's just get straight into it. So I've got a piece of steel heating up in the fire. It's 8mm round bar, and I've got a length that is about 1.5 meters long, a little bit over 1.5 meters. So it's quite a lot of steel, as you can see. And it's going to be a little bit tricky to forge out this first taper, and it sort of there's a lot of pressure on the back of your shoulder, or weight on the back of your shoulder, I find, when you're tapering out bars that are longer, because there's so much weight at the back end of the bar. So it's sort of pulling down on the back of your shoulder, but it's all right. I've got the vise, I've moved the vise over so I can sort of rest it on the table of the vise whilst I taper the bar out. Anyway, I'm going to put a taper on the end so that then we can form the shape of the star with a load of bends and sort of wrap that taper around the stem, a little bit like a rat tail, but I sort of want to scrunch it up so it's a really tight rat tail so that we can sort of reduce the length of the stem before we then do a little bit like the spiral tree. We're going to spiral it up in a really tight tight roll-up scroll in a way, and then pull that out to get that spiral moving up and the sort of spring which lets you put it on top of the tree. Anyway, let's start forging this taper. So we can come half on, half off over the far edge, beginning to draw down a nice taper. Now knock the corners down to get an octagon, and roll to get a nice round taper. I'm going to do most of the bending at the vise, and I think I'm going to do it hot and sort of quench off areas so we can get a nice tight bend in there. The best way to do this would be with a torch, but I don't have one, so I'm going to be using the forge to heat the bar and then quenching off sort of the sections that I don't want to bend, so I can get a really tight bend in the corner to form like the points of the star. So this needs to be a much tighter bend, or at least a smaller angle of a bend. And I'll try and explain why in a minute. Here's my handy little template, which I'm basing it off. So you can see that this bend sort of comes into the middle of one of the arms of the star. And so the rest of this material, we're going to bend around, and then it's going to form the main stem going down here. And this sort of taper that we've done, we're going to wrap around the stem like a rat tail. But I want it to be nice and sort of squished up, so it's really tight, sort of maybe about there. And then we can sort out the rest of the bar to sort of a springy thing which will go on top of the tree. Anyway, let's just continue bending this all around the rest of the points of the star. So I'll put a chalk mark on where the bend needs to be, and I've just come a little bit out of the vise to leave material for the corner. So this wants to be a much tighter bend in the corner there. So now we're going back out as we're in between 2 points. That's the first point of the star. We're about to there. I'll go check it on the template in between heats, just to see if I'm too tight or too loose or whatever, and then take the measurement for the next point, bend that in, and just work my way all the way around the star. So it's much easier to get the shape once we've got a couple of the bends in there. And you can see that this one is a little bit of a longer piece there. So to match it, I'm doing a longer point on this side, so that it at least stays symmetrical this way, even if these two are a little bit longer. Ben just wants to be a little bit tighter. There's the shape of the star. It's pretty even. Could be a little bit better. As I said, these 2 points are slightly longer than the other 3, but it is symmetrical from that side to that side, so that's okay. We've got this bit of material now, which I'm going to bend and wrap around the stem. I'll bend this piece to 90 before we then begin to wrap it around, but I'll have to take a new heat now, but then we can begin to wrap it around this stem bar. And I want this to be nice and tight, as I keep saying, but I think it'll look better with it being nice and tight rather than sort of an open rat tail, and also it means that we can have a shorter stem on the star. I'm very happy with how that's turned out. I think it looks pretty cool, and it's a nice way to end that sort of bar coming along from the star. So now we have, what I'm going to do is put a 90-degree bend in there, and then begin to wrap this up in the vise, so it's a really tight roll-up scroll in a way, which we can then pull out like that spiral tree into a spiraling cone as sort of like a bit of a stand for the star. Get the star clamped in the vise there, and you see I've got a nice short heat. So we can bend this bar down, get it nice and tight, and then start the scroll. We've got a really nice tight start there, and then we've just got to wrap the rest of this bar around. Now we've got all this material rolled up, we can pull it out into this spiral shape. So I've realised that there needs to be a flat section on the bottom so that it will stand nicely. So there we go, a star for our own little blacksmith's Christmas tree. I've actually never had enough anvils to do the blacksmith's Christmas tree. I've only ever had one, and I got these two new big ones this year. So that's about it for the videos for the moment. I'm pretty happy with how the stars turned out. Maybe I should have done something on the little end there, but I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I like this tight rat tail that we've got going on, and then the spiral at the bottom. I think it's a nice effect. Anyway, as I said, this is going to be the last video for a little while, what with it being Christmas and then New Year, so I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off. I've been doing the videos sort of since May, and we've been pretty full on since May, so I'm going to take a little rest from them for a little while and then hit hard again come January, as you all seem to be liking the videos, so I figured we might as well carry on and get some more content out there. Also, for those of you that have been with the channel since May, you'll notice that I do sort of an outtakes video every month. However, what with Christmas and Christmas orders, they sort of got put to the bottom of the pile, and so I don't think I've done one since October. So there's going to be a New Year's special coming out on New Year's Eve of extra long outtakes video, including all the content from October till today. So it'll be hopefully a nice beefy outtakes video for you all to have a nice laugh at if I can edit it all together so it's funny. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for all the support throughout these last couple of months since May. I'm very grateful for it, and I'm glad that you people seem to like the videos and like what I'm doing, and if I can help you, then that's even better. So, or maybe even inspire a few people if I can. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the new year. Or rather, you'll see me. I never get to see any of yous.